Estás escuchando The Bad Show.
Dagr8fm Latino.com, WQRXDB. We are la Gran FM Latina, El Bad Guy Show. Ya tú sabes lo que es D'shon El Villano aquí. And I got, like I said, I got some very dope guests with us today. I got the homie Mandela Eskia. Yes. And the homie TEV95 in the cribbo. Yes. I don't have the soundboard, but pew 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 pew. Yo, man, thank you guys for coming by at such short notice. Mandela, you in from NY, correct?
Yeah, Harlem, New York.
Harlem, New York, man. Yeah. That's so dope. How did you end up linking up with the 305 legend like Tev?
Through a clique called, I don't know, can you call them a clique?
A crew, a collective.
Scene, basically. A scene, Brooklyn Wildlife.
Okay.
Which is my homie Chris Carr. And so I met Tev through them. And I met Tev and Shotty through them. Yeah.
Oh, dope. That's very dope. Tev and Shotty here, they got a good rep as like some of the illest MCs of Miami. Like the movement has moved towards a lot of like lyrical shit in the last few years. And I think that they have like surfaced to the top out here in the 305. And I see that you got some work with Shotty and everything with this new. Shotty's in here, right? Shotty's
he's on Black Russian.
Nice. So you guys are promoting this joint EP that you guys did. It's an album, right?
Yeah.
Joint album called Bar Supply. Why Bar Supply?
I wanted to, so when I was writing the records, a long time ago, like 2013, I made this album called The Bride of Drunkenstein.
Okay.
And I was trying, I wanted to do something that was alcohol related, but like the album, the beats weren't really great, like they weren't finished. It just wasn't like my best showing for me as an artist and as a rapper. And I always wanted to like go back and do it right. And then I heard, actually, the old-fashioned joint, I heard that beat, and I started saying whiskey in a dirty glass. I'm like, I'm going to do a record where everything is an alcohol reference.
Right. Nice.
Everything.
Nice.
And so I just found, like, interesting ways to say it, like absent-minded, old-fashioned, stuff like that. And so that's... And then Tev was like, we should just call it Bar Supply. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, let's do it.
Because he's dropping the bars.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Okay, that's a double entendre. Nice. I like that. What's the inspiration for you, Tev, to work with Mandela and to be able to produce an album like this for somebody that's out of state?
The inspiration, honestly, because we had tuned in when I was living in New York.
Okay.
And we had worked out there for a minute. This was maybe like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Right? Like the last time, like the last records we had done.
We did the joint with J-Don.
Yeah, maybe 5-6 years ago. I was living in Harlem. And he would come up to my crib and we cut a couple of records.
Oh, dope.
So I known him from that, but then I took a little hiatus when I came back down to Miami, and I had seen him online still hustling, and I'm like, yo, you know what I mean? Like I see you even going harder than from before. So when I started doing beats again, and I'm working on the Mosfetch, he was one of the dudes I sent tracks to first.
That's
and I'm like, yo, let me hit up Mandela because I see his growth.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Mandela, tell me a little bit about you, man. You grew up in New York. What was that like for you, and what was it like growing up within hip hop out there?
It was very interesting because I'm the youngest of, it's 7 of us.
Oh shit!
But mostly brothers.
Nice.
6 boys, right?
Nice.
And so my oldest brother's 20 years older than me. I'm 37, so he's 57. So my older brother grew up when hip hop was happening.
Yeah.
So I would just always hear the stories, and then I was always exposed to the music. And I used to draw, I acted, I used to act too.
Okay.
But just music was like the only thing that I could like stick with. It just kind of stuck to me.
Nice.
And so I guess growing up in New York, I would just write, I had my little notebook, and I wouldn't share my raps with nobody. I just kept them to myself.
Was it like a poetry thing?
No, it wasn't even poetry. It was rap. Yeah, I was trying to rap. I was listening to like Eminem and Jay and Busta Rhymes, and so I wanted to rap, right? So I just started rapping one day. I just wrote a rap, and then I never looked back.
That's what's up.
So that's really like my introduction to hip hop, just through my brothers, making sure that I was like listening to dope shit and forcing me to listen to like old school rap and stuff from the 80s and
So
things of that
I was about
nature,
to ask you that.
Rakim and all of that.
I was about to ask you that because like there's a lot of a lot of people, especially the new cats that come up, they're not really conscious of the hip hop that came before them.
Yeah.
But you don't suffer that problem, obviously.
No, not at all.
What artists would you say from that kind of like 90s, 2000 period that maybe your brothers listened to? You mentioned Eminem, but what other artists do you think influenced you to like really pursue it seriously?
So when I came into my own, like my first cassette tape was Busta Rhymes When Disaster Strikes.
Ooh,
so that's
what a classic. I love that album. I love that album.
So that was a big influence. But I think I really started wanting to rap when DMX came out. Because I love, DMX is one of my favorite rappers.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, rest in peace. So I love DMX. I love Pun. Those are the dudes I was listening to growing up. DMX, Pun, Jay-Z is my favorite rapper probably. Nas, all of those guys. But I was really into Jay, Cameron, DMX, all of those guys. So that was like my early influences. And Eminem, I used to listen to like Eminem, but I had to go try and sneak to get Eminem because I didn't really like, not sneak, but like I didn't have his cassette. Like my mother wasn't gonna like, she wasn't gonna like, she wasn't having it. But
too many curse words, too much.
no, it was just like how you explain this, like who's this? You know what I mean? But then like when I think I turned, no thank you, when I turned about 15 or whatever, like I would go get my own CD. So I went and bought Marshall Mathers LP and all of that stuff.
Nice.
And the D12 album, all of that stuff. So I was like just really just taking in everything that I thought was kind of cool. The Locks, Jadakiss is a big influence.
Nice.
Styles P, Beanie Siegel, Memphis Bleak. Yo,
I heard you yesterday, and I heard a lot of I heard your wordplay, and it's very reminiscent to that golden age of boom bap. That's very cool. You got really dope wordplay, really dope lyrics. I kind of feel that like we kind of fall in love with hip hop during that school time, like between maybe middle school and high school. Was that what it was like for you? When you fell in love with it, you said, Was that the point where you said, "This is where I'm going to take it seriously"?
I just I was homeschooled until high school. So when I started, I think I wrote my first rap. I was 12 or 13. It's always like kind of muddy to me, and I just wrote it and I rapped it for my brothers, and I always tell this story because I was listening to gangster rap because that was what it was back then. And I was talking all of this tough stuff. My brothers was like, "You're not gonna do none of that." And so they was like, "Yo, your rap is dope. You good. You're good." And that was the first rap I ever wrote. And it was like, "Yo, you kind of got some skill, but you're not gonna do none of that." You're not gonna do none of that. Okay. So ever since that, I was like, okay, I took it to heart because I thought it was really because my brothers. Your older brothers, they gonna make fun of you and make jokes. And they was like, they didn't really make fun of me. They just was like, you're not gonna do that. So write about what you really gonna do. Write about real stuff. But then when I started writing, like, I was a big Cannabis fan back then. When I started writing the extra lyrical stuff, I got really good at that. And then I remember my older brother was like, you good at that, but okay, I get it. You can rap. Tell me a story. And that's really what it was because that's why like I work in high school and I worked with youth for like a while, over 10 years, and I've done like work with like working with kids and songwriting and stuff like that. And that's kind of where it really comes from because I had that in my life and everybody doesn't have that.
That's right.
So I had somebody to be like, to kind of push me in a way where I could become a complete artist on my own before having.
Your brothers was rapping too?
No. Probably in the 80s. I know my brother was like, I wrote this rap. He'll come out, every once in a while. Like, do you just start spitting some rap?
Everybody rap this one. Everybody rap.
That's a fact.
But it's very cool that like it was family that kind of like guided you and helped you sharpen your skills in a way. How do you feel that they receive your music now when they see that you've taken it seriously and that you're all in?
It depends on the brother. They all know that I'm like, they all like, he's talented. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He can rap. I think some of my brothers, their thing was always like, yo, you're good, but they were kind of like, one of my brothers was very disillusioned with rap because he grew up with like Outkast and all that stuff. Another one of my influences. He grew up on that and he just kind of like doesn't like anything that comes out now. So when I was coming up and I was doing the raps, he was like, yo, you good, but you really think that's gonna work? Because they not signing good. They, you know, they signing like, they signing trash. That's how he felt.
That's actually a very interesting perspective, because I think that especially in New York, at least as an outsider, I could kind of like say that music kind of like went, as far as like production and style, really took that down south route.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then at one point there was a lot of people just not from the south, but making southern style music, trap. How does it like parallel, or better yet, how did you feel about that type of music being made when when that's obviously not from there? Like, I can imagine that something your brother would say was like, nah.
Oh yeah, they was like, they was not with that at all.
Outside influence.
When the ASAP Rockies and all that. It wasn't with that. I mean, I respect it. I think for me, it was more like, don't jump on it just because it's a wave. If it's something that
you stuck to your guns.
I know. Well, here's the thing. I've done all types of different types of music, but the thing for me is like, if I'm gonna get on something like that, how do I make it dope? How do I tell my story, and how do I say stuff that only I'm gonna say? And
how do you make your Mandellas?
Yeah. So, cause that, to me, I think as an MC, like some of the older cats, they don't want to touch nothing.
Right.
That's modern, and I'm not like that. Like I'm trying every sound. I'm gonna try drill. I'm not gonna talk about my ops and who I'm shooting. But I'm gonna try the sound and see what I'm gonna do about it. So I think that's dope. And right now drill is like kind of the new wave that's it's very heavy in New York and in Chicago and in the UK. Right? Yeah. So I guess for me, like, it was weird when cats came out sounding like they were from down south, and I wasn't really too into it. I would rather listen to down south, because I like down south rappers too. Like Ludacris and T.I. I was in that wave. Like, I was early on
UGK, all that.
UGK, all that. Yeah. So I rock with all that. So
I was a huge 8-Ball and MJG fan.
8-Ball and MJG was like,
I love those.
They was like, I remember watching their video coming on BET, and MJG went off. He said something crazy. He was like rapping. I was like, oh, these dudes could rap though. Yeah.
Mandela, where does that name come from, and why Mandela?
Because of my real name. My father is a Pan-African activist.
Okay.
His name is Alambe Braff, and we all have African names. So he named me after Nelson Mandela, and I met Nelson Mandela when I was 6 years old. He came to Harlem.
Awesome.
My father helped.
Yeah, that's so dope.
My father helped organize his trip, and so
wow,
made sure I met him.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
And you were just mentioning a moment ago that you're also active in the community.
I work with young people. Yeah, I work in a high school I went to. I teach there now for this year. I'm a sub as well, so I help with the other classes if like it's needed. Yeah. And then I teach my own class too.
That's so cool,
and
man.
I teach
God bless.
Songwriting classes.
Let me tell you, man, that is not an easy job. I could imagine at some points it's even a thankless job. Yeah. But you're doing a real good, thing for these kids, man. Yeah. So, teachers, man, and are you part of a union?
No.
Are you for unions?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm very pro union myself. Hip hop is something that is so universal. Like it's everywhere, every country. Mm-hmm. You mentioned that you're of African descent. Mm-hmm. Have you ever been to Africa? Have you seen the movement out there?
No, I haven't. So my father used to. When I say I'm from Africa, I say by way of Barbados, right? Because my father's side of the family is from Barbados. Okay. My mother's side is from down south, right? Okay. But we were always of the belief that that's the motherland. That's where we come from, and so we want to embrace it and not, because when I was growing up, people would make fun of you. If you like wore African stuff. Like I used to grow up and you see pictures of me, I had the dashikis on, I had the kente on. I still wear it sometimes. I got to get some stuff to accent my outfits for when I'm out again. But I usually wear stuff, kente related stuff. Right. And I just grew up wearing it, and it was just a part of like, my upbringing. And so, and unfortunately I never got to go, but my father went a lot, and he did a lot of work out there and a lot of work here. So like that was just a part of his, part of like my homage to him is to like continue to do that.
Have you ever? I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
Have you ever connected with any artists from out there? Like
yes, I have. I met some artists online. Shout out Aman Seydu. He's from Ghana. I met him actually through Instagram. He be rap. He's like a boom bap type dude out there, and he's like young. He's like in college or something like that.
Nice.
And there's shout out Saito, the artist. He's Nigerian, and I did some music with him on his project.
Hell yeah. That's very cool.
Yeah, he's dope too.
You know, like I was saying, yeah, because it's everywhere. The culture's everywhere. You know, in Latin America, there's a lot of hip hop as well. Like Spanish hip hop is crazy. You know, Salazar. You know, Trap en Español. Yep. I'm a rapper. I rap in Spanish. I started rapping in Spanish. You know what I'm saying? I consider my shit now to be more Spanglish because Miami is Spanglish.
Right.
But
that's real life though.
Yeah. And
that's how we talk.
That's how we talk.
Yeah.
Like, over here, we talk.
Spanglish.
You know what I mean?
That was called Spanglish.
Yeah. It's called Heat Rock / Spanglish. It's a couple years old, but it's like I'm rapping in English, but every end of the line is a Spanish word.
Nice. Hey, that's very creative. That's very cool.
I said it to you.
And the point that I was trying to make was that like it's separated to so many, or not so many, but you know, like I see reggaeton, right, and a lot of people don't consider reggaeton part of hip hop, right?
That's weird.
But it does stem out of hip hop.
It's from hip hop. It's from hip hop. But there's a
hip-hop.
lot of like, you know, especially in Latin America, because in Latin America it's like purist. Like in Colombia, Mexico, like you go out there and if it doesn't sound like what you guys put out, it's not hip hop.
No, I know what you mean.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
Trap and reggaeton to them is like.
Oh wow.
It's starting to gain weight. The thing is that.
But it is though, like, and I think eventually that once it comes full circle, and maybe that's what we need eventually, like that reggaeton comes around to get back to hip hop, because that's its parent. Hip hop's the parent.
It is, and it happened here with I feel like to a certain extent Southern music wasn't considered hip hop for a while,
and it finally came
around. Okay, this is part of you got to respect it. You know what I'm saying? I feel reggaeton is the same, but the difference is that out there we had more like the commercial success was in reggaeton and trap, and kind of the boom bap stuff kind of like stalled. You know what I mean? But yeah, it changes. And I wanted to get that opinion from you guys. What you guys thought of reggaeton? Because I think I asked that to everybody. You know,
I think I would agree with you. Like before, I was probably more against reggaeton. Like I remember, rest in peace, Mexicano 777. I worked with him. Like we got the bass on a release album.
Crazy.
Yeah. So RIP, we did a lot of through via Sal, he was like that. He was a purist, and he would always fuck with us because like, yo, this isn't not reggaeton, you know. This is, you know, like that's what he would tell us.
Yeah.
But you know, now I'm thinking as that was maybe, you know, I was maybe 10 plus years ago, right?
Right. Like early.
And RIP to Mexicano, man. Like, you know, I learned a lot working with
one of my favorite. Bendición, mami, que voy para la calle.
I'm gonna say he's probably one of the, if not the greatest artist I've ever recorded.
Wow.
Yeah. So RIP, you know what I mean?
I believe that.
Yeah,
I believe that. A true fucking legend.
A true legend.
Yes.
So he was of that, like that purist, you know, Latino vibe that it was like, nah, this is not reggaeton. You know what I mean? Like Los Playeros, like this is like the original Puerto Rican shit.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, and you know that stuck with me, but. You know, I think we've already gone past that. We can grow, and we've already claimed that we're hip hop and shit. Like we can now we can embrace like these are like derelict children, the reggaetoneros, like that.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like we had these children, like you know they're gonna come back to us, yo. God. You know what I'm saying? It is, yo. Like reggaeton is like a derelict hip hop child, yo.
Yo, and actually, now that you mention it, I don't think it's only reggaeton. I think to a certain extent, hip hop has also like right now. Rap, as far as rap, has like really gotten popular in the battle scene in Latin America.
Well, last night with the
that's where I was going.
That's where I was going. Absolutely.
It's a huge movement in Latin America. Like it's bigger than hip hop songs. Let me put it like that. Like on the radio, you won't hear a lot of hip hop songs, but you like turn on.
Oh, it's like on the radio out there's mainstream, like the battle rap.
No, well, not the battle rap. But what I'm saying is that like. It doesn't need to be on the radio because you could ask almost any kid, they're all into hip hop. They'll talk about battles. They're not gonna talk about hip hop music.
Like records. They're gonna talk about
they'll talk about this guy and this guy battled. Did you see that battle? Holy shit! I swear. So last night, coincidentally, where you performed, there was a battle going on. Battles. They're starting to make it a league. It's going to be called the Under Mob League or something like that. But
That shit was popping yesterday.
and it's a bunch of Cuban kids, mostly. It was
wow.
mostly a bunch of
Okay.
Cuban young kids.
Yeah, it was like a young crowd. It
Yes,
was popping.
it
Like,
was
yeah.
very popping,
Yeah.
and I believe that that's gonna start mixing now. Now that we had that,
I saw
that-
them coming and peeking over on the other side, like
Yeah.
you know, our crowd, what we were doing too. Like they were like looking
They
over,
were, and people were going into to see what
Yeah.
they were doing. So the ideal thing is that like it would be like a performance, a battle type of shit, so that we all are there. You know what I mean? Pero bueno, that's how hip hop, you know, coalesces in different parts of the world, and this is how it's coalescing here in Miami. I would say that Miami has a very rich history, and it's, you know, due to like people coming from New York to Miami, like for decades. Hip hop came to Miami because of people moving down to Miami. Like I remember, like the first guys that put out a record out here that I can remember on the radio was the M.I.
yeah, I remember
the
that.
first platoon.
The first platoon, yeah, I remember that. Yeah, it was popping. The
Yeah, it
first
was
platoon
super
record
poppin'.
was popping in the streets out here.
But you would look at them and they look like New York rappers.
Wow.
I would bet I can't dare to say because I never heard them talk, but like on an interview type of thing, or I don't remember. But I'm pretty sure if they would have talked, they would have probably sounded like New York because they were probably from New York and came down here to Miami.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that whole thing, like I went to Braddock. I graduated from Braddock. I remember like there was this whole crew that
Shout
was
out to
all,
Kendall, bro.
Shout out to Kendall.
Yeah.
Yo, it was all New York style rappers. How do you feel being a guy from New York, seeing that New York influence everywhere?
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's dope. It's dope to see it still out here because I feel like a lot of when the South took over, you know, when the South took over hip hop, it was all that sound.
With the Atlanta
Even
sound.
even in New York. So it's really dope to come to Miami and hear cats rapping like that.
Yeah.
To go to Portland and hear dudes rapping like
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
and New Mexico, and it's like I've been places, you know, and you hear that they out there rapping.
Nice.
You know what I mean? So that's it's always dope. And I love to like just catch new MCs and just like sharp MCs out of nowhere in different places because it make me like I love
Yeah,
it.
I want to follow you part of this.
Like, last night I was just sitting there waiting.
Yeah.
I can't wait to rap.
Nice.
I hate going
Nice.
last because I'll be waiting to rap. I'll be like, ooh, I can't wait to rap.
Yo, we're gonna get into some music and then we'll come back and we'll continue a little bit more. And I wanna be able to show off a little bit more of bar supply. Which, by the way, I was gonna mention. You guys send me like a couple of tracks so I could put on rotation and just have you guys on rotation out here. We're gonna go into Tequila Sunrise.
Yeah.
What would you recommend?
Tequila Sunrise.
Tequila Sunrise?
My homie Red Eye.
Okay, let's do that then. All right. Dagr8fm Latino.com, El Bad Guy Show, tú sabes lo que es, D'shon El Villano acá. Ya tú sabes, we back. Dagr8fm Latino.com, D'shon El Villano, es El Bad Guy Show. Yes, sir, El Bad Guy Show. And we got the homies, Mandela, TEV in the crib. Pew, 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 malparidos. Blaca. This bar supply this shit is a motherfucking gem, brother. Like this here is so fire.
Thank you.
Definitely, congratulations, guys. I'll be recommending this. I'll be putting this on whatever you guys send me. I'm gonna be putting on rotation.
Okay.
Much respect. You guys really doing it. We were talking about the female rappers that you have in this in this album. It just kind of like worked out that you know some good talent out there.
Yeah.
What would you say about like the females trying to get into the game? Why they ain't that prevalent?
I feel like they are, but it's just like, you know what it is? It's just like how at one point there was MCs that had something to say, but everybody wanted to hear the street rap or the gangster rap.
Okay.
So right now the woman rappers that you hear that are out, they're usually talking, they talking that you know,
Right.
run your pockets, showing skin,
Okay.
but they talking that shit.
I know exactly what
But
you're saying.
but there's a lot of
Respectable
MCs out
Yeah.
there. They
Yeah.
out there.
Yeah.
They just haven't really gotten, what I
They
mean,
need
you're gonna
that
hear
love.
more about Meg Thee Stallion and Rhapsody. You know what I mean?
They hear though.
Yeah, they hear too.
Rep
Yeah,
it. They
hear.
rep it here
Yeah, they hear.
on this
Yeah.
album.
That was not calculated. That's what the whole point I was trying to make. It
Yeah.
ended up being just because they're dope. You know?
Yeah.
That's fucking awesome, man. I mean, you know, cool when you plan it, but when you don't, the magic just works, right?
Yeah.
We were also talking about a little bit about about your name. You know, your second name Eskia. You were telling us that Eskia is from an artist, an African artist.
Yeah. So my godmother, she wanted to name me Eskia, but my father was doing work. My Baba, Baba, but he was doing work overseas. He was in Africa somewhere, so he wasn't there when I was born. He flew in.
Okay.
But he wanted me to be named after Nelson Mandela.
Right.
And so they made my first name Nelson Mandela. My godmother gave me my middle name, which was Eskia, and it was based on a young African man that she met overseas that was an artist.
Awesome.
And so, I guess maybe work,
Yeah,
power.
hey, listen, it is. It's a powerful name now.
Yeah.
I think that it's interesting that you talk about the the Pan-African stuff, because where I'm from in Colombia, there's a big Pan-African movement out there. Yeah, because you have
guerrilleros and stuff out there, right?
well, actually, in reference to black people, it's like we have two coasts. We have the Atlantic coast of the Caribbean, and we have the Pacific coast, right? And Colombia had an influx of slaves, like crazy during those times. You know what I mean? As a matter of fact, there's a very famous song by a guy called Joe Arroyo called No Le Pega. It's actually called Rebelión, right? But it's No Le Pega la Negra. Okay, that song is about a story about slave owners hitting a woman, and the woman's husband, another slave, said, "Don't hit the black woman. Don't le pega la negra."
Wow.
So there is a huge movement out there. It's gotten bigger with time, but some of the same things that have happened in the United States and in the world has happened obviously over there. Slavery, no reparations, a lot of government like the government setting them aside, and over here we have way more like social programs out there. There's nothing.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting. Actually, Colombia has a huge like black and mestizo. And Indian mix. That's kind of like my family. I didn't discover that until much later.
Right.
But what would you say like right now is kind of the Pan-African movement looking like within hip hop? Is there anything that is like kind of like representing that specifically or exclusively?
No, not really. Because like even if you look at Kendrick Lamar or J. Cole, maybe J. Cole is the closest you might get to it. But even with Kendrick Lamar, like he's definitely like aware, but I wouldn't call him Pan-African.
Okay.
I mean, J. Cole maybe might be the closest thing. Maybe J. Cole might have some of those ideals, but I wouldn't call him Pan-African.
Okay.
Like I was raised Pan-African, but I'm not sure that I'm as militant as my pops was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I do definitely connect with some of the ideals.
Yeah.
Within that ideology. And so, but I don't think it's prevalent in hip hop. I think the last time you really had that was Public Enemy and X-Clan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
X-Clan.
Yeah.
You also had like the whole
Dead Prez as well.
that whole clique with De La Soul and
they were kind of on that.
What are they called? God, it escapes my name right now. But yeah, Poor Righteous Teachers. All the
They were kind of on that.
Native Tongue family.
Native Tongue.
Yes. They were
Yes.
kind of on that, but I don't think that's there's ideas in there that people put in their music, but I don't really know if there's really a rapper that's just pushing that ideology.
All right, that's
not like somebody that's mainstream right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm glad that subject came up. I've never been able to kind of get into that.
That's interesting because I didn't know the bit that you said about Colombia. I think that's really different.
Colombia. There's a lot of slaves that went to Latin
All
America.
through Central and South America.
The Caribbean. You're from Cuba.
Mm.
There's a
I'm
huge,
from here, but my family's from Cuba.
Your family's from Cuba, so it's like there was huge, like a lot of slave trade in the Caribbean. What I think I want to pick your brain a little bit about top 5. MCs.
Okay, all right.
Give me a top 5.
My top five is kind of boring, but Eminem, Jay-Z, 103,000, Nas, DMX.
How about you, Tev?
Personally, like not
Yeah.
who I would say are the technically the best.
No, your faves.
My faves, my top faves. I would say my favorite rappers, Doom,
Okay.
MF Doom, Ghostface, Jay, obviously.
Nice.
Doom, Ghostface, Jay. I really like how Rock Marcy raps. He's one of my favorite rappers, I would say.
Okay.
He's got a dope delivery. That's 4, right?
The 4, yeah. It's hard sometimes. There's so much talent out there.
And we were talking about him in the car, G-Rap.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, G-Rap, like legend, you know.
Legend, hell yeah.
Is
Is
was
there,
probably my 6.
right? There's just so many that you can throw in there.
And you know that changes.
Yeah.
You ask me that next week, I'll probably give you a different answer.
Sure,
you know what I mean? Like you know how it is.
So
But you know, just to keep it a buck, that's how I'm feeling right now. You know.
Yeah. I struggle to answer that question. I you know, because there's just so much talent and shit.
Mine's usually stays the same, but it's like there's certain people that I'll be wanting to throw Kendrick in there because I think he's so dope. I've been wanting to put Rakim in there. When I go back to old LL, I'm like, oh, LL was dope.
Biggie, man.
Biggie,
as far as
Tupac.
lyricism, you know what I'm saying?
There's so many.
Yeah.
It's hard.
That deserve to be there. So.
That's why I ask you. It's like, is it personally what I'm vibing to right now, or like, are we putting together the brackets? You know what I mean?
I think brackets is some more appropriate.
Yeah,
There's
are we
so
doing
many people
the
that
fantasy
throw in
league?
there, you know? Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I want to really thank you guys for coming through today and sharing with us. This has been a great experience.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Mandela, let them know where they can find you, social media, website, what's going on.
Yeah, so if you go to my Instagram is at Black Zeus with an X at the end. So that's BLACKZEUSX. And if you go YouTube /Black Zeus, same way, you'll find me. TikTok, Black Zeus, all of that. So if you look up Black Zeus, you'll find me. And if you want to find me on the streamings, if you go to my Instagram, there's a link in the bio, and you can find my music.
Dope. How about you, Tev?
TEV95 and 95 Labs. Just 95 Labs, TEV95.
Okay.
On all the platforms.
Nice.
But the whole catalog is on Bandcamp. If you really want to see the whole catalog.
Okay. I'm definitely gonna add. Just opened up my Bandcamp.
Yeah.
I didn't ask you about future projects. What you got cooking?
I'm working on a part 2 with Tev.
You guys working on that part 2.
Yeah, a few tracks in there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I got some other stuff in the cut that I'm trying to do, some like short 5-part EPs with another producer I work with named Dagr8fm.
Okay.
He's dope too. Dope.
And then I got something cooking for the that's already basically done, but I just kind of got it in the stash. It's called We the Gods, and I'm probably gonna drop that sometime in the fall or winter.
All right. Definitely got a lot coming.
Yeah.
And in the meanwhile, you got the merch going, right, for the album,
sir.
for the bar supply.
Yes, sir. Link in the
everybody go check out the bar supply.
Yeah.
This shit is ridiculous. It's so dope. And yeah, man, that's how we doing it. So we're saying not goodbye, but see you later type shit. And we'll be back later on. Right now, we're just gonna go out playing some more of that bar supply. And ya tú sabes lo que es, man. D'shon El Villano, Dagr8fm Latino.com, WQRXDB. We are the Gran FM Latina. And you can find the app for free out in Google Play and the App Store. It's for free. Check it out. The Dagr8fm and the Dagr8fm Latino one is free. So check his shit out. D'shon El Villano se despide. Ya tú sabes lo que es con mi gente latina. Saludo mucho a toda la gente que se nos sintonice, que está siempre con nosotros. Así que aquí nos vamos con un poquito más de bar supply. This is Mandela Eskia. Eskia, correct?
Yes, you got it right.
Mandela Eskia, the homie TEV95 repping that 305. ¿Qué pasó? Let's go.
Estás escuchando The Bad Guy Show.